The spirit of man. Do what? Do what?
Is it mind with will and emotions part of our soul?
Mind with will and emotions.
I didn't hear that.
She was saying, wouldn't the mind be part of the soul?
Our intellect, our mind, will, and emotions?
Your soul is composed of your mind, your will, your intellect, your emotions. That's correct.
Okay. So what would your spirit be? What part of us is capable of ascension?
Spirit.
All right. Which is connected to what? Where's our womb? Where's the reproductive part of us in our mind? Maybe I'm throwing you off here. Maybe I'm completely off base here with this, but our mind.
Vision.
All right. Okay. Maybe I'm losing you here. All right. Let's just say body, soul, and spirit. All right.
What does your spirit have that ascends that your body and your soul don't? What if I said it that way?
You keep saying conscience.
Well, no, it's not a conscience. No. It produces a conscience, all right? But what is it that your spirit has? Huh?
Just leave it on.
What is it that your spirit has? Romans 12 says what? Every man's given a measure of what? Faith. What does Hebrews 11:1 say? Now faith is the substance of things
Hope for.
hoped for,
The evidence of things.
evidence of things not
not
seen.
seen.
So your faith and your faith in the Word produces a thought that ascends.
So what is the thought? It's an evidence of something that's not seen here yet. That's what ties right in with your faith, okay?
Exactly.
So consider this, that the mind of man is your spirit, the part of you that's able to ascend, okay? The way, as a man thinketh, so is he, all right? As a man thinketh, so he is. I didn't mean to confuse anybody on the definitions of body, soul, and spirit. But, so it's important that the circle stay round, that it stays round in order to be portable, to be mobile, all right? So what's the definition of a circle? It's a closed arc with a fixed point in the center of it. Right? Anybody looked at the definition of a circle lately? That's what it means. So let's do this. Let's draw a line from this face to this face.
That's the diameter.
Do what?
No, it's not the diameter.
And this face to this face.
Diameter is half the circle.
We'll see the fixed point. All right, there's a fixed point in the center of the circle that holds it all together and makes it mobile. What does that fixed point make? The cross. The cross. Come on, this is good stuff. I hope that you get this. This is a good application for your walk and your life as you walk in the character of God. You see, in the very center of God's love is the cross. Is the cross. The very center of God's love is the cross. The cross is what holds the wheel together. The cross is the spokes that make it roll, that make it portable. Okay? This is what holds it together. It's what keeps it in shape and keeps it mobile. All right? Now, let's talk about distortions. If the circle's not round, it's no longer mobile. It's no longer portable. All right? So let's go back to try to get through these real quick here. Let's go back to the image of emotional love. Let's see what how our emotions affect the image. Somebody give me the shape of emotional love again. Come on, circle is God's love. We just went through Valentine's Day. You see these shapes everywhere. A heart, that's the shape of emotional love. That's what we consider emotional love. All right, it's heart. All right, it's a bad heart. I'm sorry. All right, it's your heart. So what does that mean? That means you're heavy on the emotions. It's pulled the whole circle out of whack. There's no longer a fixed point in the center of it. All right, mind of Christ. All right, it's pulled the whole circle out of proportion. It's distorted it, just like Nebuchadnezzar's emotions distorted his visage, distorted the image. All right, it distorts It distorts the image. If you're leading with your emotions, what's the first thing that touches other people?
Anger.
Your emotions, whatever they are, whether it's love or anger or whatever it is. Your emotions touch other people first. What's the first thing they touch if you're leading with your emotions? They touch your emotions. It's not that complicated. They touch your emotions. Look at this. Let me put it bluntly to you. If you're always walking around, you're always getting your feelings hurt, and somebody's always stepping on your toes and making you angry or making you cry, you need a change of leadership. You need a change of leadership. Stop letting your emotions lead and put the mind of Christ back at the head and back in the lead. The mind of Christ should always be the very first thing that touches other people when we come into contact with them. The mind of Christ that's in us should always be the first thing that touches other people and the first thing on us that they touch. All right? You want to know how to discern spirits and discern people around you? You have to let the mind of Christ be the first thing that touches them. You have to let the mind of Christ touch them that's in you. Amen? You still with me? Does that help anybody? I hope so. That should be that helped me a lot. Your emotions lead, the whole thing's out of whack. It's only going to make about a half a rotation. It's going to be stuck upside down. All right? What happens if another part of your triune being tries to take the lead? Look at another distortion of the circle. What happens if your mind tries to lead? Let me show you. If your mind tries to lead, you're going to wind up with this. Nice little bowl shape. Your mind. All right. Your soul and your flesh are down here in the bottom rattling around. And the mind of Christ. Look at this. If your mind tries to lead, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence. Your mind's always at war with the mind of Christ in your life.
Good stuff.
Your mind is always at war with the mind of Christ in your life.
Good stuff.
All right? What does this make you? Come on, this is an image of something that talks about in the Bible. Look, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways and gets nothing from God. If you're double-minded, if you're trying to lead with your mind and the mind of Christ, you're always running over here to your decisions, and when you come over here, what happens? The whole shape tips this way. You have to run back over here, and it tips that way. You're unstable. You're unstable. What do we call that? What do we call that when we're running back and forth? It's called a vacillation. A vacillation is where you run from one opinion to the other.
Confusion.
It's called confusion. It's called a reed blowing in the wind, moved about by every wind of doctrine that comes around and everything else when your mind tries to lead. It makes you a double-minded man that's unstable in all your ways, and you get nothing from God. Nothing from God. Amen? You guys with me? Everybody good? That one was helpful for me too. I like that. Let's look at the third one. What if your flesh tries to lead? Well, that's probably the most violent effect on the shape that you can imagine here. What does your flesh do? What are the desires of the flesh manifest in? What? Sin. Sin. Your flesh is a consuming monster. All right, if it's left to lead, if it's left to unchecked, it will consume all the way up to the point of death. It has no concern for your soul or your spirit. It will consume. It will overdose you on drugs. It will string you out on whatever. It'll cause you to come up with the sexually transmitted diseases and that eventually kill you if you don't bring your flesh under submission and subjection. All right. So what does sin do? If the works of the flesh manifest in sin, what does sin do? What does it do to our relationship?
It's death.
Huh?
It's death.
It's
There is
death.
no
I mean,
relationship.
what is death? What is our spiritual death? To be separated from the presence of God.
Yeah.
To be separated from the presence of God. All right? When your flesh rules, it's a violent. It pulls it down into almost an arrowhead, and it just takes you completely out of the circle. Pulls you completely out of the circle. All right? Your flesh is up here. And it pushes the whole thing down and pulls you completely out of the presence of God. Violent reaction when there's sin in there. Amen? You guys with me still? All right, I hope so. So it's very important that the circle remain intact, that the circle remain where it's supposed to be. All right? What was in the center of the circle? What's in the center of God's love? The cross. The cross. The cross. Press on toward the mark. Also looked to me like a scope, you know, with the crosshairs in it. Press on toward the mark. Stay focused on where you're going. Amen?
So how often do you go to the center of God's love? How often? Every day.
Every day. Amen.
You present yourself daily.
A
Right?
living sacrifice. Holy and acceptable. Amen. So what's the next shape on there? I'm trying to... I didn't know I was going to be talking this long. I really didn't. I thought it was going to be over a lot sooner than this. It's the triangle. All right, it's inside the circle. So let me present this to you. If the character of God can be summed up in one word, which is love, all right? So the image of the love of God is a circle. How about the character of Christ? Anybody give me a word that sums up the character of Christ? Sacrifice. Anybody else? Not quite it yet.
What was the question?
Can you? Unselfishness. Yeah, that's part of it. Give me a word that sums up the sums up the character of Christ, or what He is for us. How about governor? Let me just throw governor out there to you because I want to hurry and get this done because I know everybody's probably ready to go. But governor, all right. He's the King of Kings. He's the Lord of Lords. He's the governor. The government shall be upon His shoulders. Government, all right. When we enter into the love of God, the next step is enter into the government of Christ. All right, the government of Christ. This will be the holy place in the tabernacle. If you were there, we're going to teach on the tabernacle soon. I promise. But you enter into the governorship of Christ. All right. What's the first thing that we see on the bottom of the triangle?
Bottom is integrity.
Okay, I don't think that's the way we had it. I don't know if that's the way we had it. Where's Tiffany at? What do we have on the bottom of the triangle?
What did I have?
Yeah.
What were the three?
Ethics, integrity, and dignity.
Ethics on the
We had ethics on the bottom, right? Ethics. It's important. It's important. Man, I can't even spell it tonight. I'm telling you. My handwriting is horrible. I'm sorry. Ethics. You enter into ethics. Ethics. What are ethics?
Body of belief.
That do what? That you do what with? Body of beliefs that you govern your life with, that you live your life by. Okay, that's what ethics are. It's a body of beliefs that you govern your life with, that you live with. All right, what's over here? Integrity. All right, what is integrity?
Manifest the fruit of your body of belief.
All right. Integrity is nothing more than standing on the ethics regardless of the situation or circumstances. You saw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego do that. All right. What was the ethic they were standing on? What was the truth? This line is truth. You could call this truth right here. Ethics. You could call that truth. Because that's the truth that you stand on. Your ethics. That's the foundation of this triangle.
Integrity was in the bottom.
Originally. Yeah. I like Tiffany's version. I'm going to go with the ethics first because you have to have a foundation to work from before you can build integrity and dignity. You have to have something to start with. Ethics. Truth. What was the truth that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were standing on? What was the law of God that they were standing on? Do what? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. All right? Thou shalt have no other gods before me. They were standing on it. They walked in integrity with it. Even if it cost them their life, they were going to do it. They were going to follow that. They were going to stand on that foundation of not having any other gods before Him. What did that produce in them? Dignity. What is dignity?
The application of your body of belief.
The application is it's what comes from the application of the body of your beliefs. The application, your ethics, you walk it out, and it garners dignity for you. Now, I know that's completely different from I'm going on the triangle Tiffany and I had worked on there, but ethics, integrity, and dignity. Your integrity that you walk in from the foundation of your ethics produces dignity.